Where am I? There I am. Good afternoon, everyone. I've got my silly hat on. Sorry, I just had to run home. I'm just about to go live, and I looked down at my my little tea light that goes inside my chrome food warmer and realised I didn't have any more here, and this one was not going to last the live, so I've just had to tear home like a lunatic. I'm organised now, so there we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Patchwork Cutters with me, Tracy. So some of you have seen me here before. Some of you probably have or haven't seen me here before, but I am the lady that does all the cake painting. So I'm going to do some cake painting this afternoon. I don't normally wear my hat, but it's cold now. And when the winter comes, my hat goes on because I don't care. I really don't. If in doubt, paint with a hat on your head. Do you know what? I walk around the house. I'm just checking my, making sure we're live here. I walk around the house with my hat on my head. Regardless, you know. it keeps the heat in. So I paint with my hat on my head. And then sometimes I don't paint with my hat on my head. It depends what mood I'm in. But anyway, today I have got my hat, my jumper, my thermals and everything under the sun because it gets colder and colder. There I am live now, perfect. So yes, I've got my winter hat on today, ready, and my jumper, and we're going to do some cake painting shortly. So we're going to do the large snowman today and the Christmas tree. I'm not going to do the Christmas tree traditionally. If you want to do the Christmas tree traditionally, then you can go to my YouTube channel, which I'll put up there because I always talk about it and never actually point you in the right direction. So the YouTube channel, which is up on the screen at the moment, has got the traditional paint of this Christmas tree. I am not going to be doing that today. So if you want to know how to do that tree, you'll need to go to the YouTube channel to have a look at it. I'm going to do mine differently today. Of course I am. So if you're tuning in for a green tree, go to the YouTube channel and you'll find it on there. If you're not and you're here to see something a bit different, then that's perfect. That's exactly what we want. My hat is out. Thank you very much. I do apologise for my hat, but do you know what? Needs must, and I don't care. So that's the way I roll, and I like it. So, so we're going to do some patchwork cutters. We're going to do the snowman and tree combined with the stag and snowflake as well. So I've got some bits going on for both. Lots of you have been very inventive with your ideas in terms of mixing the patchwork cutters kits up together. So not to the point you can't work out what goes with what kit like I've done. But lots of you have taken elements of different patchwork cutters and put them together and built these really quite lovely Christmas scenes this year. So I've seen loads and loads of these appearing on the group because obviously I go through and I see them all, which is really nice. So well done for all being incredibly inventive with them. I'm sure Marion is just as pleased with them as I am. They all look really lovely, so that's good. Yes, my hat is mad, I know. Okay, let's have a look at the snowman. So this is large snowman. So large snowman has a large tree that comes with it and the snowman himself. There we go. They are actually quite good to cut out, these ones, but I have embossed mine and we're going to paint them, but they are actually not too bad to cut out because they're not too sort of fiddly. We've also got with that set some little robins. There's little birds there. I didn't even know there was birds in there until I had a good look this afternoon. So I am going to use a little bird as well. And then I have gone into this set here, which is the stag and snowflake, and I've pinched the snowflakes out of there. So there's snowflakes in there. I've still got a bit of icing in there that I've used again on my board, and I've set myself up a picture, of course I have. So this is what we're going to be painting this afternoon. So it's quite big, there it is. Let's take that down so we can see a bit more. So we're going to be painting this afternoon. I've got this on an 8-inch round board, so it's quite a big board. So if you've got a biggish cake, you could just do the snowman on his own, you could just do the tree on his own. It's entirely up to you. I have actually sort of dyed the board a pale blue colour, not quite as dark as I normally do. I've just literally washed it through with a little bit of blue, just so it's not white, so that the snowman will stand out. And we're just going to use different bits and pieces and just see how we get on and create something out of this. So we're going to use our cocoa butter. We're going to use the lovely new candle that I've just been rushing all the way back to get. So I'm just going to move my camera a little bit that way. So the patchwork cutters are available on my website, tracyscakes.co.uk. If you go into Let's Shop Cake Live, you'll find them in there. You'll also find, if you go into cake supplies, there's a whole section on patchwork cutters. So we've got them all. Right, I'm going to just light my candle. This might take a minute because it's a new candle. There we go. that will be super hot. So let's just quickly mention what I'm doing. So I have got here a chrome food warmer. This is a chrome food warmer. You can buy these on Amazon for sort of £5 to £10, and in the middle is a tea light. Now it's not called a cocoa butter paint or anything like that. It is a chrome food warmer. Its purpose is actually to warm food rather than actually do what we're doing, but this works very well. And then we have metal paint palettes which sit on top, and they get hot because the heat under there is making the whole palette warm, and that's what in turn is going to melt the cocoa butter. So cocoa butter looks like this. So that's cocoa butter. It's little tiny buttons. So in its solid form, so without the heat, it will set solid. In its liquid form with heat, it will melt. So that's what we're going to do. We put a couple of palettes on either side there. You don't need very much every time you paint. I mean, it takes me forever to get through one bag, so I'm sure you won't need more than one bag. And then we've got a selection of colours that we're going to use, dusting colours from Sugar Flare. We've got Wonder Dust. We've got all sorts of different things. So we'll start with white. That's the obvious colour for this one, isn't it, particularly? Might need a bit more white, actually. I'll tell you what, we'll start with that, and then if we need more, we'll add it. We're going to put a bit of, I think we're going to put brown down. Don't really know why. I've got it out, so there must be a reason. There must be something behind my process of brain here. Blush pink, we're going to put that down. Let's get that colour down. And there we go. And iced pink sorbet, which actually might be the colour I was meant to be using. I kept changing my mind when I was planning this, which is pretty much normal standard procedure. And then a little bit of black. Actually, I'm just thinking about this now. I quite fancy some spring green. I wonder if we've got any spring green anywhere. Let me have a little hunt for that. Quite like that colour. Let's see if we've got any in my moss green. What have we got there? No, we seem to have got a plethora of moss green. What's that one? Gooseberry green. Of course it is. Every green except the green I want. Okay, well, we'll use moss green maybe. Moss green's quite a nice colour, so we'll put that in there as well. Okay, let me just move that out of the way. Hold on a minute. Oh, pick up my laptop, so I'm trying to keep an eye on the comments at the same time, so I can't see them unless I see them on here. Right, okay, let's put this on here. Bit of green. Little bit of green as well, maybe. Okay, right, let's move that out of the way. We've got that under there, and that can go in there. So I had my camera very low last night, which has made it a little bit tricky for me to sort out today. There we go. It's a little bit better for me. Okay, there we can see. Right, let's grab a bit of kitchen roll. Let me just check what brushes we've got. So we're going to use our paint brushes. So our paint brushes are numbered, and it helps me to be able to teach people. They've all got numbers on them there. You can see that hopefully under the camera there. 0, 0, 2 and 3. And what else we got here? It's another 3. So we seem to have 3s coming out of my ears at the moment because I lost my 3. And then I lost it again, then I lost it again. So I ended up picking up all these 3s. It's driving me crazy. There we go. We've got brush 1. The only one I haven't got at the moment is 0, but we should be able to get by without that. So 0, 0, 1, 2 and 3 are the brushes that we're going to use today. So we're going to start with paintbrush 2, I think. That looks like the one to start with. We'll just dip it in the cocoa butter and we'll just get rid of the colour from yesterday, which I forgot to clean out. Now, the minute I've gone live, I've spotted it. Never mind, it's fine. So I can just dip that in the cocoa butter and clean that brush out. You can clean your brushes out under hot water, or you can clean them out with cocoa butter, just like I'm doing on a bit of kitchen roll. Doesn't really matter. Either way is fine. Cocoa butter's so cheap to use, it'd be absolutely fine. Now, what I want to do is get a base down on that snowman because he may need a couple of goes. So we're going to grab some of the cocoa butter and the powder, and we're going to make up a thick white paint. So that's the first thing we're going to do. So don't forget, I'm painting on a coloured background. So my background is pale blue, and it is not it's not white. If it was white, we're going to struggle to see the snowman, you see. So think about this when you're icing your cakes. If you've iced your cake in white and then you do a white snowman, it might not stand out that much. So just have a little think about that. Okay, let's start with the face. So we're just going to kind of just stipple some colour onto his face. So we're going to make him sort of a matte colour to start with, and then we'll work it out a bit more as we get nearer later on with this. There we go. So we'll take that down there. So these look like quite big paints, but in theory, even though they're big, they should be the same amount of time as it takes to do the smaller ones, because there's just bigger areas to paint, so it should work out about the same. So I'm just going to plug in this overhead camera just in case we decide to lose any power there. Right, there we go, that's better. How are we doing? Okay. Right, let's grab some more white. So I've got quite a lot of lumps in there today, so I'm just trying to make sure they're going, which they now are. And then we'll just paint bottom half of the snowman. He doesn't, oh, and he's got no arms, has he? No, I suppose he wouldn't have any arms. Maybe he does, sometimes they do. I'm going to stipple it so that it's not flat, like so. So we get a bit more of a textured effect on the snowman, so he doesn't look flat. If you do it flat, he tends to look a bit streaky. Whereas if we just texture him like this, he won't look streaky, and he'll look different to the sugar paste as well. So we will use the white to do that. Let's get a bit more going. So we're going to go through a fair amount of white this afternoon, I would imagine. Ooh. Okay, a little bit more. There we go. And then we're going to bling him up a bit later on. We're going to make him, we're going to have a sparkly snowman. We don't want a boring snowman. We're going to have a sparkly snowman. So we'll brighten him up later. There we go. Along there. So this is paintbrush number 2. You could do this with paintbrush 3 if you particularly wanted to. So any of the larger brushes would be fine. This is the one I just happened to pick up, and it's working really well. So we'll get to the bottom of the snowman. We're going to put some snow around him as well. And I think while we've got white on the brush, we'll do that now. And then that will be ready for later. So we'll put a little bit of snow underneath him. Look, so we're going to go back to him again anyway later on, but we'll just for now we'll start laying that snow out. It's a very frosty cake, this one, isn't it? Frosty and cold at the moment, so I thought, right, I'm going to make sure this looks very frosty, hence why I've done it very pale blue today, just so that it doesn't stand out too much. Right, so we've done that one. Now, while we've still got white on the go, let's change brush here. So let's go down to brush 1 and turn that around. No, we still want it that way. We're going to just have a go at doing some of the snowflakes. So the snowflakes are very simple. So you can see already that they've been pushed into the sugar paste. I only did this a couple of hours ago. Last week or week before, whenever it was I was on here, I painted snowflakes. This week I'm using the snowflakes from the Stag set. So it's Stag and Snowflake it's called. So those snowflakes are quite handy to use across basically near enough all the projects. And they're quite nice because they're cupcake size as well. So if you wanted to do some snowflakes on a cupcake, they would look very nice on like a navy blue sugar paste as well. They would really stand out on that. So if you wanted to try them on a dark colour, you'd find they would really, really stand out. Okay. Whereas mine is subtly frosty today. That's what we're going for anyway. I've got to sort this out. It's driving me mad. Sometimes, there we go. Sometimes trying to get this thing to sit properly on this chrome food warmer is a bit of a nightmare. It's moving around. There we go. And we'll do this one so that you can see their different shapes. Am I still on camera? Yes, I am. So you can see their different shapes. We've got some different patterns to cover in. Now, I can always remember cutting these out when I was doing cakes years and years ago and finding them a little bit tricky. And a lot of the problems people find with things like patchwork cutters, tappets, they're another one, is they're trying to cut them out in sugar paste and not using modelling paste. Now, modelling paste is what you need to be using to cut out patchwork cutters or tappets or any of those kind of things. And it has to be rolled out very thin. And modelling paste is much more pliable than it is sugar paste. Sugar paste will just fall apart if you try and cut little things out like this. It will be a nightmare. And the problem is that, you know, we all go wandering off merrily into somewhere like Hobbycraft and we see all these wonderful colours and we go, oh, that'd be nice. And then we pick up these colours and then we bring them back to try and use them with something like this, and it's very difficult to do it and you end up feeling like you've failed. Well, if you want to cut them out, as in cut out, lift and stick, you need to be using modelling paste, okay? We're using sugar paste because we've embossed these into the cakes, so we don't need to worry about that side of it. We can just use sugar paste because we've only pressed it into the paste itself. So just bear that in mind when you're doing it. Okay, let's make sure we got that in the right position again, which we have. Right, let's go to the tree. We'll grab some paint and we're going to go pink. We're having a pink Christmas tree this afternoon. In fact, the whole thing is going to be pink and white. So if you want the green version of this tree, you will have to go to my YouTube channel to watch it, because there is a full paint on there of doing this tree in green, but I decided earlier today I'm going to do it in pink. So I've got some ice pink sorbet here, which is an edible art colour, and I have got this with some white added to it. And all I'm going to do is make my way down the tree. I'm trying to make you think differently. I'm trying to make you think outside the box here a little bit. So that's why I do these things a little bit different each time, just so we can try some different things. So this is iced pink sorbet, which is a luster colour. It's on my website under Kate Painting, mixed with white dusting colour. So that's what's mixed with it. And we're going to very carefully work our way down the tree. So we'll put a base on for the tree. This will be a very pretty pink sort of, if anybody, you know, wants to do a nice sort of soft pastel type Christmas, this will appeal to you. Let's grab some more white. There we go. So I'll just keep going. So you should have, it should be nice and smooth. If you start to get any sort of lines and stuff, just put a little bit more cocoa butter in. Sometimes the paint can be a little bit thick. I think we're doing okay at the moment. I'm going to go a bit rogue today and do a pink tree. I said I was going to do large snowman and tree, but I didn't tell you what colour I was going to do, did I? Now you see, I caught you out. It's not as not as you know it. There we go. That's looking all right, isn't it, so far? So far, so good. So we're using pale pink, ice pink sorbet, edible art mixed with white. And we're just going to paint the whole thing the same colour at the moment before we start going in and shading it a little bit and making it a bit different. Like so. Let's grab some, get through a fair bit of paint here. You find luster colours will generally use up a little bit more of the actual dust than the matte colours. They always have done, don't know why, but they do. So just bear that in mind if you're painting with lusters, that you're probably going to get through more dust than you would if it's a matte colour. Okay, but the coverage is good. The coverage is really good with these types of colour. We've also got Wonder Dust Whisper Pink, which is a really nice pale pink colour if you fancy having a go in that shade. It's quite similar to, well, it's a paler version of this one. This is Ice Pink Sorbet, which is one of my favourite pink colours. I have to say, I love this colour. It's really nice. Okay, we'll carry on. I'll take that down to the bottom. Nearly there. Gets a bit bigger at the bottom here. But it's the same old story. It's getting the first lot of paint on and then doing the rest of it that makes it sort of change, and all the magic and everything that goes with it. Okay. Last one. across the bottom there. Okay, so that's the tree, that's first layer of the tree done. Now we're going to match some of it to the hat and everything, so it kind of goes across the whole thing. It doesn't just look like I've done a random tree. So again, we're going to go back to the pink, we're going to add some white to it. And then this is actually part of his hat, so his hat's there and then he's got snow on it, so we just need to differentiate between the hat and the snow. So his hat's there. Then I think he's got a brim. Then I think he's got more snow. And then I think there's a brim under there. That's how I'm reading it. I might be wrong. Marion might come on and tell me off. You never know. There we go. That's how I'm taking it anyway. And then what I'm going to do with the scarf, I'm going to overpaint the whole thing in the pale pink to start with, and then we're obviously going to go back and do magic with it later on. So we'll just get a layer of the pink down on the scarf, same colour as the tree and everything else that we've been doing. Let's add a bit more white to that. There we go. And across there. It's got a nice chunky scarf on. I want one like this. I'll have to get Kelly to knit me one, I think. Okay. Around that side. It's a very sweet, I'll tell you what this could be for, like baby's first Christmas or something along those lines, couldn't it? If you wanted to do something really sort of pale blue or pale pink, that would work really well. If you just like pink. Not everything has to be traditional colours, eh? Well, not today anyway. I love that scarf. It's very nice, isn't it? There we go. Okay. Right, let's clean the brush up. Let's have a look at it. So for the bottom of the Christmas tree, I thought I would do a very pale brown. So I'm going to pick up some brown and I'm going to mix some white into it because I don't really want it to stand out too much. So I'm going to make it nice and pale. Hopefully it won't. Yeah, that's better. So it's just a bit of pale brown. Still using paintbrush 1 at the moment. So just keep the colours soft. I think that's what I'm trying to tell you really, is just try and keep everything as soft as you can. Okay. Now I need to go back to his hat because I have missed the snow. So I'm just making sure I've got no brown left in this paintbrush, which I don't think I have. And then we'll grab some more white and then we'll just paint this bit up here. And just go across there like that. And across his brim. I do think there's something else going on there. I'll make a darker pink later on, I think. That's what we'll do with that bit in the middle. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to extend the, actually I might go back to the bigger brush for this bit. I'm going to, what brush is that? 3. Let me see if there's anything in that. Nope. I'm going to extend the bottom of the snow out from the snowman to the Christmas tree. I'm going to just take some along here. I haven't decided whether to join it to the snowman yet. I'll have a look at it first before we make that decision. Let's have a look on screen. Yeah, that's okay actually. I haven't put them exactly side by side either. I've put the tree up a little bit higher than the snowman just to kind of, I was trying to give it a bit of perspective, I think, more than anything else. So that's, I have actually moved the tree up a slight bit. So if you're looking at it and thinking she's not got that level, that was actually done deliberately. I did do that deliberately. Right, there we go. Okay, so let's go back to the, what should we go back to? Let's go back to the tree. I'm going to turn this around. So our tree is now dry. That's good. I'm going to turn it a little bit towards me. And we're going to go into the ice pink sorbet again, but we're going to go into the ice pink sorbet without any pink in it. We've got paintbrush number 1. So we've just got the neat colour now. And what we're going to do is we're going to go under these bits here. We're going to take hold of a dry brush, which will be number 3 in our case. We're just going to blend this colour through a little bit. So I'm just tapping it in underneath the tree. No, don't let me sing. Under there. There we go. All right, so I'll just put that down there. I don't want to put too much of this colour down, so I want to try and keep it pale. Get a bit carried away. Okay, and into these gaps up here. So lots of you have bought the cocoa butter painting kit, which I'm really pleased about. Lots of you have bought patchwork cutters, which I'm really pleased about. And lots of you are painting, which I'm really pleased about. So we just need to keep the momentum going now. Now we've got you hooked, we need to keep you painting. So we've got a beginner's cocoa butter painting challenge on my school at the moment. So if you fancy joining that in the new year, you're welcome. I'm going to continue to come on patchwork cutters, probably not every week, but some weeks, and continue to paint some of the other cutters that Marion's got. So I will be back on here as well. So it's a good time of year to be painting because it's cold. It's not very nice outside. So you can stay indoors and you can get quite wrapped up in all of this painting. Before you know it, you've got something quite special without sort of having to put too much effort into it. So we're going to go, let's grab some more of this ice pink sorbet under there, up there. Let's pull that down a little bit. Just so it's not flat more than anything else. That's what we're trying to avoid, is it being flat. Okay, as it gets towards the bottom, it does get a bit easier. I probably should have started at the bottom, but never mind. You've just got a bit more space more than anything else. Grab a bit more. Get that colour going. There we go. That down. It's nice not to be too predictable with Christmas. I was doing cupcakes last night on my live and I did do some pink ones and some green ones, and then we did an Instagram poll, which is actually still going on at the moment, as to what people would like. When I last looked, it was 50-50, which was really interesting. So 50% of the votes went for pink and 50% went for the traditional green cupcakes. So there you go. There is a demand for pink. It's just whether... There we go. Let's go up there. There you go. Look how nice that looks. That looked lovely. I think that's quite different and quite lovely. I can already hear myself singing again. I will try not to out loud. Right. Then what I'm going to do is, still with the ice pink sorbet main colour, is I was going to try and do some stripes. Now I don't know how successful this is going to be, but I'm going to give it a go. So I've got paintbrush 1 and I'm just going to head across here, leave some gaps. Because I'm actually going to come in with another colour just across the stripes as well. So when you do the stripes, follow the direction of the scarf. Don't just do them straight. Look where the scarf is going. and then adjust them accordingly. Is that looking good? And then the stripes are going to change direction this side, aren't they? Because he's tied round his neck. So we have to change direction. And we're going to curve them round his neck. And the same this side. And then round it. And then we'll go back this way for these ones over this side. Like so, and then one more at the bottom there like that. And then what I want to do really is I want to just do a pink trim at the bottom with this. So I'm going to just use the Ice Pink Sorbet and just go straight over the top of this. I'd like it to be a little bit darker on the ends. Like so. Lovely. And then I'm going to use that pink colour again just to do what looks like some sort of headband or something going on up here. So we'll put that in as a different colour. There you go, like so. We're not really making this very complicated. We're just using, literally at the moment, we've only used 3 colours. We've used pink, brown and white. That's it. But all we've done is like lighten it up and just change it slightly. We are going to have to use black in a minute because we're obviously going to have to do the eyes and things. But yeah, it's not overly complicated and it's very effective for what it is. So we'll let everything dry out now, the tree, etc. And we'll get some black. But what I'm going to do is put a little bit of white in it so it's not too black. I want it to be more kind of dark grey, so it's just not too strong. If it's too strong. Okay, and then we'll just take the paintbrush there, just pop it in there. You can use this or you can use a dotting tool if you've got a dotting tool. That would work quite well, especially work for this bit down here. Let me show you what one of these. This is a dotting tool. So these are used in like makeup art and things, particularly with nails. And you just take it and you put it into the colour and you make a dot. So he's got like little dots that are on his mouth. So it's probably easier to do it with the dotting tool. Might actually help if I mix up a bit more paint. Let me do that first. So you're going to mix your paint up with the paintbrush because you need to do that. Can't do that with the dotting tool. A little bit darker maybe. And then you can put the dotting tool in and then you can fill up the little gaps. It's all marked out for you anyway. Another one. This just makes it a little bit easier than trying to do it with a paintbrush. Just go back and do those ones at the start. There you go, see, that's easy, isn't it? And then I could just go back and do the eyes again. That's better. There's that, you see, that's fairly straightforward, isn't it? I'm going to just put a tiny bit of tangerine on here because I'm going to need to do his nose. His nose is going to, actually, do you know what? I'm going to be rogue and I'm going to give him a pink nose because he's going to ruin my colour scheme otherwise. I'm not having that. You're going to have a pink nose, I'm afraid. No, you're not. You're going to have an orange nose. No, no, orange. He's going to have orange. No. Can't go against that. Okay, we'll do an orange nose. But we'll make it a pale orange nose, so we'll have to compromise here. Subtle orange. We're not just suddenly going to go bright orange in the middle of our lovely pink. Yes, that's okay. That's acceptable. So I just had visions then of just this bright orange ruining my picture. I don't want that. There we go. Okay. Right. What should we do to you now? What we'll do now is we'll turn this round again. There we go. Oh, it's hot. Hot, hot, hot. Back round to the white. I'm going to just stick a bit more cocoa butter in there. I've gone through a fair bit. A couple of buttons in there. Just top things up a bit. We'll grab some more white. And what we'll do is we'll make up another white, bit more white powder because we're getting a bit short. And then what we'll do is we'll do the very tips of the tree as if they've got snow hanging off the edge of them. So we will literally just dab some white onto the ends of these trees. Hopefully it will stand out. Have a little look, see how we're doing. Oh yeah, that's coming out all right. Let's make it a little bit thicker. There we go, a bit more. I'm going to go over this again anyway shortly with some Wonder Dust Snowstorm, which is a really nice colour, which picks up lots of sparkles. Just get the white down first, get the base down first. So don't follow it in complete lines, just do kind of sections of it. So I'm not going all the way across like that. Imagine it's sticking out, so therefore it's not going to settle on every single bit of the tree, is it? It's only going to settle on little bits of the tree. There we go up. Well, it's standing out quite nicely against the pink, isn't it? Which is good. And go across there. So just kind of stippling it really, just so that it just looks random. We're not sort of doing this, we're just stippling with a brush. I wonder how many of you are going, I know I thought I was going to do a traditional tree, but I might do a pink one now. That might change a few minds. There we go. So we're nearly up at the top. I'm up to the very top. There, okay. Very nice. Right, let's have a look at the little bird that's down the bottom here. So I've still got white on my paintbrush and I'm using paintbrush 1, so that's okay. We're going to make him a little robin. So we're going to do a very pale version of him. So we'll give him a little bit of brown on the back of him. You could have pink, but I'm not. I'm going to stick with traditional colours, but they're going to be very subtle. Okay. So just the same kind of colour as the base at the moment with this. We are going to make that a little bit darker in a minute, but nothing too much. Right. Let me just grab my bit of kitchen roll, just clean my brush up again. I need a bit of red, don't I? A little bit of red. Let's find some red. Okay. A tiny bit, don't need very much. And we'll grab some red, a little bit of white, grab some white. I want it to be, I've got to be careful here because red and white obviously makes pink. I don't really want pink. I want a bit more of a salmon-y colour, I guess, for him down here. So we just like him to be recognisable as a robin. There you go. And we'll just give him a little beak with the brown, which I forgot. Make it a tiny bit darker. He's got a little tiny beak just in there. And then, of course, the dotting tool comes back into its own again because there is a little tiny eye on the robin, which we can just about get in there. There we go. Look at that. Could not be easier. We can get in there with the dotting tool. Just going to do his feet as well. There we go. What colour have I had in there? I don't know. Okay, so we've done the little bird. And then the bottom of the tree over here, we can always just put a little bit of extra dark colour down here. Not a lot, just a little bit. And we can just, so it doesn't look completely flat. Like so. Okay, let's have a look back at the snowman again. Let's turn him round. And then we're going to do a bit more careful painting. I'm going to grab some white. Got paintbrush, what have I got? Paintbrush 1. Now I'm going to try and put a little tiny stripe or a thinner stripe next to the stripe we've already got. So I'm just going to take my brush and work my way across there. There we go. Just above each one. So I've got a lump on my brush, it's not helping me. And there. Yeah, that's nice. And across there. Okay, and then I turn it around. I'll come down this side. And down this side as well. Above this one. And then over this side. See, it's better than just having a plain old stripy scarf. We want one with a bit of extra stripe, don't we? See? Just looks better, I think. A bit more snow down there. Right, okay, let's give him some, we're going to give him some pink buttons, I think. Let's do that. I'm going to give you some pink buttons over here. Like that. You could also stripe his hat up if you wanted to match it, but I'm not going to do that. But if you wanted to put some white stripes down there, there's no reason why you can't do that. Right, let's get our snowstorm out. So this is Wonder Dust Snowstorm, which is a very nice glittery colour. So let's put that on there. Okay, let's grab. So when you add this to the Wonder Dust, you see what it does. It's sort of, I can't really describe it. You almost need to scoop it onto the paint. It just doesn't behave like anything else. So with Wonder Dust, it's a case of adding in the cocoa butter and then scooping it onto the cake and then just placing it where you want it to be. So, you know, you can put it in places. You don't have to do the whole thing in Wonder Dust at all, but you do need to put the white down first, because if you're expecting kind of lots of coverage with this colour, you won't get it. It's like applying wet glitter, that's all I can describe this as. Like that. But it will pick up, you can see on the camera it's just picking up a bit of a shine about it now. Like so, a bit more cocoa, but you can see the amount of cocoa butter and dust, it goes through more than the matte colours. But I think you end up using probably about the same amount because you're spreading it around a little bit, aren't you? How's that coming out? Yes, you can see it. I'll be able to, when I've finished, I'll pick it up and I'll move it around so you can see it a bit more, probably more I can see than you. Okay, now if you wanted to extend that colour into the snowman, you could do that. In that case, you're just putting some shimmer into him. I mean, as he's made of snow, he ought to match the snow really, didn't he? There you go, add a bit more. So I've just stopped temporarily just for a moment. Right, there we go. Just checking the Facebook feed so I can see what's going on. This is paintbrush 1. I've got to be honest, paintbrush 2 is probably going to be better for this, but I'm just about getting away with it because you'll be able to cover the surface area quicker. But I'm just about managing. I'll just spread that round a little bit. So if you sort of get lumps of it, just kind of push it around a little bit. It's just going to give it a bit of texture as well, more than anything else. So it doesn't have to be a flat paint. It's got a bit of something about it. Let's grab a bit more of this. Okay. How's that coming out? So if I just tip that a minute, you'll kind of get a bit more, see if we can get a bit more shimmer going on here. I'll go that way. It's very shimmery from what I can see. Right. Okay. Lots of snow going on there. Don't forget his face. Let's do a little bit on his face. Just be careful around his eyes. And then up on his hat. And then you can extend it across the tree as well. So you can just tap it literally just on some of the branches in places. Like so. There we go. Right, okay, so we're going to decorate our tree. Of course we are. We're going to use some sprinkles actually, rather than painting some more on there. We're going to use some snowflake sprinkles. Again, we're sticking with our theme. So you can either use sprinkles like this, or you can use these ones, which are let's get the right ones. These are a pink Christmas tree sprinkle mix. So you could use some of those if you preferred to have the baubles on there. Depends what sort of thing you like to do. So if you were having baubles on there, you can have ones that are the same colour. I'm just going to take some royal icing. Let's get some out. There we go. And then we can just put them wherever you want. So let's put some random spots on here and see what we get to start with. So you can just pick out some of the pale pink ones if you like the pale pink ones, or you can go for the cerise pink ones, which are a bit stronger. Let's put them on actually put them on a tray next to me. It makes my life a lot easier. Now, because my sugar paste is quite soft, I can actually push them in and I can embed them into the cake as well. So I can push them right in. And then I've got my little snowflakes, which I'm going to just put randomly in places. I'm going to put one right on the top of the tree as well. So these are also in this little mix. So just a few little snowflakes here. Sticking with my white theme, my pink and white theme. Apart from my little bird. There you go. Put that on there like so. There we go. And then what we could do is we could add a little snowflake to the snowman's hat. So you could have a little one on there. And then we're going to put some in the sky as well. So we'll just go around with a few little dots of royal icing, just tiny ones. Doesn't help that I've got quite a big nozzle on, but never mind. Okay, I'll pop those in there. So we've not only got our patchwork cutter snowflakes, which are flat, we're now adding in some sort of 3D type ones to make the picture stand out. And then we're going to go back to our dotting tool in a minute. We're going to add some snow background. There we go. How are we doing? All right, let's go back to this. We just need to mix up a bit more white paint. I seem to be going through white paint very quickly at the moment. So we'll just mix that up. So if you think about the sky, when we do sort of like textures and stuff, it's quite nice to have like large snowflakes, small snowflakes, and some little dots as well of snow. So lots of different sizes really. So we're going to just take our dotting tool and just dot in some snow, some little snow, as well as the big snow we've already had. There's a full snowstorm going on here. Okay, you see it doesn't take very long at all. I've done this in under an hour, haven't I? How long have I been live? Not even an hour yet. I'll bring some down here as well. You could also do some snowstorm ones as well if you wanted to add a bit more sparkle in there. You can put some little dots on the tree. The dotting tool makes really good for like fairy lights. So if you wanted to do fairy lights on your tree, you could do the dotting tool, would work really well with that as well. And then if you want to change the size, you flip it over and then you'll get smaller ones on the other side. So if you want to do a different size, which is very small, you can then flip it over and do some different ones on that side. Do some slightly smaller ones down the bottom. Then with the snowstorm as well, you can go back, and if you want to, you can just take hold of your snowstorm here. Let's grab some of this. And you could just literally go over the top of your snowflakes, and that will bling those up as well. You could even do the sprinkles if you want to. You could just paint the sprinkles. Just go over it. Like so, and that will just change that down. So I think you'll agree it's quite a quick paint, this one, but I've tried to do it non-traditional today. I've tried to make it look different from what you would have expected with this one, because I'm sure sometimes you kind of think, yep, I know exactly what she's going to do. She's going to paint the tree green and she's going to make the snowman pink. And then you just go, okay, well, that's it then, isn't it? So, but what I've actually tried to do is do something a little bit different here. I'm just going to put some more snow down. And a little bit of snow under the bird. There we go. Let's turn that round so it should look that way round, like so. Okay, there you go. So that is my paint for today. So we've done the large snowman kit, which is Patchwork Cutters, with the stag and snowflake that I've pinched from the stag and snowflakes. The little tiny snowflakes up here have come out of that kit. So if you do order the large snowman, don't expect to find the snowflakes in there. They have come out of another kit. They've come out the stag and snowflake kit. So just bear that in mind if you are going to have a go at doing this one. Or of course you can use the sprinkles just like I've done on here. But I've kept my palette very clean, very pink and white. Yes, we've got some little details hidden in there, like the tiny little robin and the nose, but we've kept it pastel colours. We've not suddenly gone right robin red, and actually a robin redbreast is more orange than it is red, so you can always change that over to orange. You can always just, again, if you suddenly thought, I don't like that, if you just take that brush and just go over the top of it, you can actually sort of tone it right back to orange. So if you wanted to make it a bit more colour of his nose, you could just do that. There you go, job done. Not difficult. So you can always paint over colours like that. Let me hold it up a bit so you can see it. I'm just going to move that out of the way. I'm going to pick it up so you can have a closer look at it. So there you go. You can have a close see at the colours. If I try and tip it to see if you can get anything sparkly going on. Sparkling for me, but maybe not for you. Depends on the lighting, doesn't it? But there we go. There's a nice pink example of things you can do with that. All right. I'm coming back on with my hat on. For those of you that tuned in late, I've got my hat on my head just in case you tune in and think, what's she doing? I've got my hat on my head because it's very cold at the moment. So when I'm painting, I like to have my hat on my head because I'm not moving, you see, so I get cold. So I thought, well, I'm going to be realistic to who I am. So my hat is on my head and that's what I've got for my paint today. So you can all have a good laugh at my hat. So I'm going to take a picture of it and I will pop it up onto the Patchwork Cutters page so you can see it. If you want to have a go at it, then the cutters are available on my website. They're under Cake Supplies. You can either go in the Christmas shop or you can go into Patchwork Cutters. I've got them in but 2 places on my site. They're also on Let's Shop Cake Live for those of you that watch it on Saturdays as well. Okay, that's it. I'm not sure if I'm back next week yet. I haven't talked to Marion yet. We'll have a little discussion and see what's going on, but we are definitely going to be back in the new year anyway, so we will be able to do some more bits and pieces there. You're having a good laugh at my hat. Good. We'll do some more Patchwork Cutters next year anyway. Cocoa butter painting kits are also on our website. They're under Cake Painting. Go into Cake Supplies, into Cake Painting, and you'll find them in there as well. We are rapidly sending stuff out. So hopefully, well, we know that the post is delayed, but things are starting to make their way through now. It's just taking a little bit of time to get through. So thank you very much for everyone that joined me, and I will see you all again on Patchwork Cutters Club soon. Take care. Bye for now.